So today you don't have any cash or fiat money?
No, nothing anymore. We don't have anything anymore, just some Bitcoins.
This is Roger Veer.
This is Sebo, the PCH Wolf.
This is John McAfee.
This is Vin Armani of Cointext.
And you are listening to
Humans of Bitcoin podcast.
Part of the Bitcoin.com podcast network.
You may have heard of him, Didi Tautu of the Bitcoin family. Last year, he sold almost everything he owned, poured it into Bitcoin, and traveled the world with his family, which he continues to do to this day. The Wall Street Journal did a special on him, and just like Eric Voorhees, I wondered if that was the whole story. I wanted to learn more. So we brought him on the show. Didi, thanks for coming on.
Thanks, man. Happy to be there.
And starting out, I should have asked before recording, but where is that last name from, and how do you pronounce it?
Oh, my last name is Taihutu. It's a name from the Moluccan Islands in Indonesia.
Oh, that's awesome. So your parents are from there.
So my father is from the Moluccan Islands in Indonesia. My mother is from Holland. So yeah, I got my father's last name.
And before we get into Bitcoin, what was your life like?
Yeah, small town in Holland, about 100,000 people live there. And I had a company, and I just had a pretty normal life.
Tell me a little bit more, though. I mean, what was your childhood like?
Oh, my childhood was like amazing. I had a dream to become a professional football player. My father was a professional football player in the Netherlands, so it was in the blood. So I started playing football, and it's soccer, so not the American football, but the Dutch soccer. And I started playing this, and then I got good at it, and I just played up to the professional leagues. So that was my childhood, football and being a kid.
And until how long did you play football, and why did you stop playing?
I think I stopped when I started to travel at 37, but when I stopped playing professional was around 24 years old. I just wasn't good enough to reach the top of Holland, so I chose to choose for a study.
And what did you study?
Higher economics.
So you got a job out of college?
Yeah, I tried to work for a boss, but that didn't work out very well because I have my own opinion. If you work for a company, you're not always... In that time, you weren't allowed to have an own opinion, mostly. So then I started an own company, IT business, in educating people in using computer skills, training them in computer skills. And that one grew and grew and grew. And then I started a second company. And that one grew as well. And then at the end, I also took a management job in Malta and the online casino business. So at that point, I was running 3 businesses. Yeah.
Wow. So you had an education business, an online gambling business. And what was your third business?
The third one was a company building where I hosted a lot of other companies. So I hosted a computer store. I hosted a network development company. So they were all renting my place.
So today you don't have any cash or fiat money?
No, nothing anymore. We don't have anything anymore, just some Bitcoins.
Wow. You are very remarkable in the sense that you've always gone big. Go big or go home. You went all the way you could as a soccer player, which a lot of people dream about, but you didn't get to the first division like you had hoped. And then you go into entrepreneurship full force as well in economics. And I think that a lot of entrepreneurs, sometimes they don't really mean it, but they say, oh, you know what? Why am I working so hard on all this? I mean, it may be rewarding, but I would love to just get rid of everything one day, just live on it. But you actually did this.
Yeah, it's something you consider all the time because most entrepreneurs start a company to have a nice living and to schedule your own time and everything. But then when your company gets bigger and bigger and you get employees, you discover that you are not that free anymore and that you can't schedule your own time anymore and the company starts running you. In that phase of my life, I was still a very materialistic guy who wanted to be a millionaire and wanted to have all that money. And so, you do what you need to do to bring in this money. And for me, the companies were this. And that was a nice part of my life, but I'm very happy I quit that part.
For sure. So you mentioned you were materialistic, and now I guess you consider yourself a minimalist.
Yeah, I think it's a minimalist, but I think a lot of people don't even understand what a minimalist means, what it means to be a minimalist. A lot of people ask me, Didi, but if you want to be a minimalist, why do you have Bitcoins? Because you have Bitcoins to become a millionaire. And so you get a lot of questions about that, or about that part. Yeah,
for sure. And we'll define minimalism in a bit. But it's really Bitcoin and minimalism. So to me, this is kind of interesting that you made this huge transition a couple of years ago, I guess full transition, 2017, But like most big decisions, even if it happens, like you can say it happens really slow, but it happened really fast. Maybe when you finally pull the trigger, you kind of organize, put your house for sale and move quickly. But for most of us, there's years of debating and thinking and strategically trying to, I think there's this thing in Buddhism where you kind of live with a challenge or problem or decision you have to make, and you realize it's a big one. It's going to take time. I mean, were there any turning points or moments where you kind of had more clarity and said, yes, I'm actually going to go pull the trigger?
Yeah, of course. So traveling was a huge passion for us. So we always traveled and we always dreamed about being a digital nomad and all those things. But those things are not easy to do just out of nothing. If you have a company and everything, you have your responsibility and you have children and they need to go to school, blah, 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 all those things. But then my mother died when she was 48 years old. And then in 2016, my father died when he was 61 years old. And at that point, January 2016, I told myself, okay, now I see that life can go very fast. I lost both my parents way before they should have died. And that was the point that I was telling myself, I'm not continuing this rat race, this life of what I'm doing without seeing my family as much as I want to see them. So, and that was the point that I decided in the beach in Bali, and I had a great chat with my wife, and then we talked, we looked at each other and we just said, like, let's sell everything and let's go for it and just travel with nothing, just a few backpacks. We are happy. Let's continue this life and let's go all in.
Amazing. And you obviously have 3 kids. And how long did it take for you and the family to get everything together and sell everything?
So when we were on Bali, I started to sell my cars and everything online direct the day after. So that was, I think, January or February in 2016. And that was the point that I started. And then we just decided to fly home and just put the house for sale. And then we did. So a week later, we were in Holland putting our house for sale for Bitcoins. And that is when the new adventure started.
So you put your house for sale for Bitcoin, and this was 2016?
No, that was 2017. It was sold and it was put for sale in 2017. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. The Bitcoin journey started all last year in 2017.
The Bitcoin journey started in 2017. Yeah. After putting this house for sale for Bitcoin, the first small media company from the Netherlands, from my local town came and they were like, "Are you selling your house for Bitcoins? What are Bitcoins? What is it?" And this is how it started, with a small interview, and this interview got bigger and bigger and bigger, and then people were flying in all over the world, just asking and wondering what we were doing.
That's amazing. Yeah. And because especially then, and even now, Bitcoin's such a novelty, just accepting Bitcoin at your company or for real estate in this case is actually a really helpful marketing and sales tool because you can get free press. And who ended up buying it from you?
An IT guy who had some Bitcoins. He couldn't pay the whole amount in Bitcoins, but he paid a part in euros and a part in Bitcoins. So yeah, I said yes at that point. But it was an IT guy working in an IT company near the house where I was living.
Cool. She made this really big life transition. I know you went to Asia last year, but you've been going all around the world. Where have you gone so far with your family?
We started to travel to Thailand, and then we went to Cambodia, Vietnam, the Philippines, Indonesia, Australia. Then we hopped over to Singapore, Malaysia. We've been to Norway, Denmark, Sweden, Finland, Austria, Croatia, Slovenia, Bosnia, Italy, Spain, Portugal, France, Switzerland. Yeah, many places.
You've made your way around. That's amazing. And so you have 3 kids, right? And what's the day-to-day like for them?
In the beginning, they really needed to get used to all the attention, because the first month, I think it was November or December 2017, when we came in the media, it was a little bit difficult because it was like 5 of the 7 days we had people running around our house with cameras and interviewers. And so that part, they found it a little bit strange. And then we got to a quiet part when we started traveling. So it was a little bit more relaxed. But soon they found out in Asia as well that we were there, and they were flying over there for making a documentary. So for them, it was amazing to travel again together with their family and to spend time with their father, because the first 10 years of their life, I didn't spend as much time with them as you would expect a father to do. So that was the positive part, and the negative part was that it grew bigger and bigger to a Bitcoin family thing, and we were born to this Bitcoin family. And it is, of course, it's positive, but it also has its negative things to it, of course.
Sure. Just like anything. And for you, I mean, so you still have, I guess you have your website. So you're going to have like some cryptocurrency hustles. You trade. What other stuff do you work on?
Yeah, so the main part we still make with trading, but because we saw that a lot of people didn't understand how to trade or how to even buy a Bitcoin and all those things, we created a course online. So people can buy their course and then we just explain them how to buy your first Bitcoin at for example, Kraken or Bitcoin or Binance or whatever. So there's a course of more than 4 hours, I think, of video material to explain people how to buy, how to trade, how to exchange it back to euro or dollar if they want. I don't recommend that, but some people want that. And then we wrote a book. The book is live now in the Netherlands, so it's a hardcover and an ebook, and it's being translated into English now. Again, our story and helping the people to understand blockchain and Bitcoin and what we think the future will look like and all those things. So yeah, this is how we try to get around.
For sure. And going back to it, what's your definition of minimalism?
Got car through Europe, and you were like, okay, what do you mean? Yeah, we will give you this RV and then you can drive through Europe and just discover how Bitcoin is doing in Europe and just vlog and blog about this. And we were fairly new in vlogging and blogging. But yeah, we just decided to say yes to this because we are a family that wants to explore the world, and we are a family that doesn't want to say no too much anymore. Just go into it and see what happens. So we did. So we flew home again from Asia, and then when we arrived, this RV was there, and so we started driving for 5.5 months through Europe, visiting all beautiful countries and places that had to do with crypto. And yeah, I was really amazed by how much crypto was evolving all in Europe. Yeah, it's amazing to see.
That makes sense. I think a lot of critics of minimalism see it as if it's like a fundamentalist religion, but it's really a bunch of principles that you can use to remove a lot of physical and mental clutter from your life. And man, even traveling right now, I think my total possessions are like 2 suitcases and a big backpack, but it's like, man, I wish I could downsize more because it's so cliche now, but the physical things you have cause clutter. And I just think being conscious about what you purchase as well as understanding, and I think you hinted to this, why you're buying it.
Yeah, this is difficult. We don't know. We don't plan. We are, I think, the most unstructured family you will ever meet. So we really don't have an idea of what we are going to do. The kids want to visit America. I would love to go to Japan. South America is still on our bucket list. We have so many countries we want to visit. And we will just go where the wind will take us.
And so your kids, they are homeschooled.
Yeah, we educate our kids in a different way. We try not to put too much pressure on them, so they will grow up to be creative and innovative kids instead of the small robots that nowadays are created in schools. We try to prepare them for a very decentralized, beautiful future instead of preparing them for the past. We have the opinion that we are doing a great job for our kids. We are not doing it better or worse than schools, but we are just doing it different. And people need to understand that we have the best intentions for our kids, of course, so we are educating them in a different way.
I love that because academia, it's rightfully criticized because it's more on the theory as opposed to the practice, which is real life. So you're going kind of ultra practice and real life experiences as education.
How do you prefer your crypto news? If it's through your headphones, then you'll love this podcast. This Week in Bitcoin is an easy to digest news summary published every Friday with a length of 15 minutes or less. Subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Part of the Bitcoin.com podcast network.
And you also mentioned, I believe, in a recent interview that you consider selling some crypto in 2020. I want to quote you on that because maybe you've changed your opinion and it may be incorrect. Is that still something you've thought about doing?
No. We always told people, and we still have the same opinion, that we got in this business for the long term. And we will stay in this business because we think that there will be a mass adoption and there will be a moment that all stores and all people will accept crypto. Of course, we are using those cards now, and we are using like in Bitnovo, for example, but these are just steps in between. At the end, I think we will be able to pay with crypto in stores and then online, of course. So I don't think there will be a moment I have to get exchange back to fiat again. I don't think I will need to do this.
Makes sense. And that's like the hyper Bitcoinization. And for listeners that aren't clear what that is, it's just that the flaws of, fractional reserve currency, which is the current US dollar, euro, as they begin to crack, there will be accelerated rate of movement from fiat into cryptocurrencies. And there'll become a point where you don't think as much of, Bitcoin is at X dollars, just Bitcoin is Bitcoin, and you'll start charging Satoshis or Ether or Bitcoin Cash or Dogecoin, whatever it is. But that's the mentality that DD has. And a lot of people in crypto, a lot of us think that there's a big opportunity for that to happen.
Yeah, this is exactly what in the Wall Street Journal on this documentary, they asked me, how much did you lose? So, yeah, of course, if you talk fiat, I lost something. I still had the same amount of Bitcoins. And they don't understand what it means that if I say I just still have the same amount of Bitcoins. I didn't lose, in my opinion. I'm still going to win at the end. But yeah, they are not there yet. They are not on the point of thinking how we think.
They're not there. And I mean, you see this all the time, DD, but mainstream media is so far behind. And it turned out pretty good, I have to admit. But like I mentioned before we started recording, Eric Voorhees got slammed by the Wall Street Journal with factually incorrect information. And you see the two common ones right now are money laundering. And then Bitcoin's going to use so much electricity that it will be like the nail in the coffin for global warming and will ruin the world. And, American Express is promoting that on Twitter and so forth. It just seems that it will take a long time and maybe never, or maybe the media is only going to catch up until you hit the full hyper Bitcoinization.
We have to just give full power back. And if it comes to all this electricity, what Bitcoin is using, everybody who tells me this, I have a very strong opinion about this. And I just ask them, how much does it cost to make money, We start plucking cotton. We start with transporting this cotton to huge factories where huge machines make paper from cotton. Then we transport it to huge other factories where it's made to paper money. Then we fly it all over the world with airplanes to bank buildings that are full with computers, that are full with server equipment backing up those computers, the ATM machines 24 hours, all those companies, all those costs to make and to use money. The cost of Bitcoin is nothing compared with those costs. It's nothing.
Exactly. And one of the things that I even see within the cryptocurrency space, we tend to judge the future based on our current set of our technology stack of today. And you have to understand that the law of accelerating returns with technology. So, right now there's plenty of renewable energy being used that would otherwise go to waste for Bitcoin mining. But innovation is going to increase, accelerate as we find new ways to use energy for proof of work mining. And I think it's unfair to discount that, even if you don't know exactly what it is.
Totally agree on it.
Very cool. And so you've alluded to this future. You talked about kind of decentralized. There already is, a lot of this stuff in San Francisco where, clothes sharing, where you just get your outfits delivered to you. Bikes, obviously, cars, houses, planes, they're already doing it, right? It's happening everywhere. Bikes. What else excites you about the future going forward?
So the thing that excites me the most maybe is people that the unbanked, as we call it, that they will be able to step into the monetary system as well. Just an example, somebody in Tanzania, for example, who has a beautiful house, but he can't put it on Airbnb because he doesn't have a bank account. So I hope that the future will make a very bright future for those persons and that they can put their house for rent on Airbnb because they have a Bitcoin wallet, for example. So that is what we do. So with all the profit we make as a family with this Bitcoin family label, we are not going to buy a Lamborghini or something of it. We are going to help other people to step into this monetary system, this new monetary system.
That's amazing. Didi, I gotta say, you inspire me a lot because you have a bravado, like an unwavering confidence about what you're doing. And it's going to be a long road, I think, for cryptocurrency adoption. And I think you set a good example and you transmit a really good energy because it's a holistic view of your life, transparent with your life and with your family and the type of life you're providing for them. So kudos to you, man.
Thanks very much.
All right. Well, yeah, you should come on every year, man. I'd love to have you on every year just to give you an update on your life and how it's evolved. Well, Didi of the Bitcoin family, thanks so much for coming on. Their website is YOLO, as in the acronym, you only live once, YOLO, familytravel.com. It's been a pleasure, man.
The pleasure was mine. And you can also visit the website, thebitcoinfamily.net, because that one is the same as the YOLO Family Travel.
Gotcha. Okay.
And if people love it, please like our social media and everything so we can spread the word some more. And we can divide our capital again with the people that need it, that really need it.
Amazing. Yeah. And we'll link to all of that on the show notes at podcast.bitcoin.com.
Wow. Thank you, man.
This is Isabel Chaparro, podcast editor at Bitcoin.com, and you are listening to the Bitcoin.com podcast network for all things Bitcoin, wallets, mining, news, events, and more, head over to Bitcoin